Niall Horan's The Show was inspired by his life and love. It's almost cliché to describe Niall Horan as a super nice guy, but there's no getting around it. Horan's new album is called The Show, but he doesn't feel the need to put one on for a journalist. In fact, when we meet at a beautiful London hotel, fresh flowers everywhere, bottled water on the table, the Irish singer-songwriter is so laid back and charming that I wonder how he stayed so well adjusted. It's probably a combination of my upbringing and the fact that I already had enough character at 16. He explains, "It might have been a different story if I'd started doing this when I was 10. Now 29, he has been scarily famous for almost half his life. After auditioning for the X Factor in 2010 as a solo artist, 16-year-old Horan was eliminated at the boot camp stage, then given a spectacular second chance as one-fifth of a hastily assembled group called One Direction. He and his new bandmates, Zayn Malik, Liam Payne, Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson, didn't win that year's show, but still used it as a springboard to become a chart-topping global phenomenon. By the time One Direction announced an indefinite hiatus in January 2016, they had sold 70 million records and debuted at #1 in the US with their first 4 albums, something not even the Beatles achieved. When asked what he would say to his pre-1D, 16-year-old self, Horan replies, "Get ready. Your life's about to change on a level that most of the world can't even quantify." Horan says he still speaks to the lads on a regular basis, but like all of them, he has worked hard to carve out an identity as a solo artist. If Horan's individual achievements still feel slightly underrated, that's probably only because his flashier bandmate Styles is now a stadium-filling superstar. Released in 2017, Horan's debut album Flicker was a deft blend of soft rock, folk and country that debuted at #1 in the US and Ireland. His 2020 follow-up Heartbreak Weather added a dash of swagger to the mix, particularly on the Brit-poppy single Nice to Meet Ya, and became his first UK chart topper. Because it dropped in March 2020, just as COVID-19 was taking hold, Horan never got to take the album on the road. "I haven't toured since 2018, that's wild," he says. "I love live music and I love touring, I live for it. So, it's sad that I haven't done that." Happily, a few weeks after this interview, Horan announced The Show, live on tour, a 50-date trek across Europe, North America, Australia and New Zealand that will keep him busy from February to July of next year. When Horan last toured 5 years ago, he mainly played large theaters, but now he is aiming to pack out arenas from Birmingham to Brisbane. During our conversation, he hinted that he was ready for the step up. "In my eyes, the bigger the venue, the better, because I fucking love looking out at an ocean of people," he says. "For me, it feels like the bigger the venue, the better the show is gonna be." Horan also makes no apologies for his desire for the show to become another UK #1 after its release on June 9th. "There's nothing better than getting that little statue sent to your house," he says, a sly grin on his face. He appears to be on track for another expedited delivery from the official charts company at the time of writing. The album's breezy debut song Heaven made the UK Top 20 in February, and its bouncy follow-up Meltdown is already climbing the charts. I saw him perform both songs in the Radio 1 Live Lounge a few hours before this interview. Horan is just as easygoing with his band during rehearsals, but when he notices that his vocals are getting buried in the mix, he immediately and decisively corrects the situation.